All right, good evening, everyone. Let's do some weather for Weather Geeks here on Monday, January what is today, the 25th? 25th, yeah. We're almost done with January. January is my least favorite month of the year for a lot of reasons, but one of them is it's 31 days. It's the coldest time of the year. The holidays are over. It just seems like you're kind of in the dead of winter. Thankfully, this January is moving along at a pretty good clip. At least it seems that way to me. Here's a time-lapse video from our camera in Columbiana today. Boy, nice day today. Temperatures got into the mid-40s, 44. The official high this afternoon. We had some thin decorative clouds around for a lot of the day, and that made for a very nice sunset this evening. If you happen to have any pictures of the sunset, so be sure to send them along to me. And you can also hit up weatherpics at wfmj.com. All right, I talked about this on the 6 o'clock news. Through yesterday's date, we don't have today's official records yet, but through yesterday's date, this has been the least snowy start to the winter season since at least 1950. Now, I started this on October 1st, all these records, because it did snow a little in October and November. So this counts everything from October 1st until yesterday's date. Officially at the airport in Vienna, 11.3 inches. Yeah, a full inch and a half behind 94-95, which had about 13 inches up through this date. You see a couple of El Nino winters on here, including 82-83, which is a very strong El Nino winter, so that's kind of interesting. And, in the strongest El Ninos, there definitely is a pattern of lack of snow here across the valley, and that went along with our winter forecast. We forecasted a lot less snow than last year. Didn't think there'd be this little snow so far, but we've got a lot of winter left to go. We've got all of February coming up, and of course, as you know, it can snow right into March here in eastern Ohio and western PA. Well, speaking of snow, of course, the storm, the colossal blizzard, went pretty much according to plan. Now, we had some surprises on the fringes, and you're going to expect that. New York City up to southern New England was always a tough forecast, and New York City definitely got more than most outlets thought up until the very last minute. Of course, everybody adjusted their forecast, but New York City definitely overachieved. But D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, this is a well-advertised storm. Forecast several days in advance to be a crippling storm, and that's exactly what transpired. You had some places in the panhandle of West Virginia, northern Virginia, parts of southern PA, they got 35 to 40 inches of snow. Well, thankfully, it was pretty much a miss for us, as we expected. We had a little tiny bit of snow, a coating in parts of Columbiana County Friday evening, but for the most part, our viewing area is doing just fine. You don't have to head too far to the south, though, to find at least a few inches of snow on the ground. Pittsburgh, heading over to Wheeling, they did pretty well with the mid-Atlantic storm. All right, here's what's going on this evening. I have the isobars plotted up here, the lines of equal pressure. We have a low-pressure system cruising up through parts of the Midwest. Pretty good band of snow on the cold side of that this evening, up across parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. But, of course, we're on the warm side. The flow around low pressure is counterclockwise, like this. So we're seeing southwesterly winds, and that's bringing in the mild temperatures and also starting to bring in a little bit of precipitation. We'll hone in on our radar here. Not going to spend a lot of time on this because this will be outdated quickly, but at 7:36 we had showers moving across the I-71 corridor in central Ohio, and these, of course, are tracking to the east. So not snow, but yes, some raindrops for us tonight into tomorrow morning. Here's our high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is a model that updates every hour and incorporates some of what the current radar shows. So this shows the future radar tonight. With those showers pushing through, I'll probably be showing some rain on 21 News at 11 tonight, and by 12:30 and 1 o'clock, yeah, we've got a pretty good band of showers around the region. Things become a little more scattered and intermittent after that, but as you get up tomorrow morning, the kids head off to school, it's not going to be a lot of rain at all, but I think there'll be a shower here and there, and that's the highest chance for precipitation tomorrow, first thing in the morning. After that, it's not going to do much more than sprinkle or maybe a late-day flurry tomorrow. And the rainfall amounts are going to be fairly piddling here. I mean, we're talking about under a quarter of an inch and probably even less than a tenth of an inch for a lot of us out of this rain heading into tonight. So the rest of the week, our cold front rolls through midday tomorrow. Temperatures fall tomorrow afternoon after a morning high. And there's not much moisture to be had behind this. There might be a flurry in a couple of spots tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. No big deal at all. Secondary little disturbance rotates in from the north on Wednesday, and particularly in the morning there could be some scattered flurries, and Wednesday is going to be a more typical January day. Highs near freezing, clouds, chilly breezes, just kind of a classic January afternoon. And then on Thursday, another one of these weak systems approaching from the west, cold front, and this could spark a flurry or two Thursday, especially later on in the day and into Thursday night, maybe even parts of Friday. We see some scattered flurries. All right, as we head into the medium range, this is going to be kind of a turbulent period, where cold is fighting with warmth. Certainly the pattern right now favors cooler air making inroads into the U.S. as you see the lines coming down out of the Northwest Territories of Canada and then down into the Midwest. In the meantime, it was warm today because we got into a southwesterly flow, but of course the cold air that's out here now is going to come east over the next 24 to 48 hours. There it is. There's the colder air. So here we are heading into Wednesday morning with a trough of low pressure setting up over the Great Lakes region. This will hang around for a few days. Then as we head into the weekend and especially into early next week, we're going to start to see things buckle again. This trough, which is still over us here on Friday, begins to lift out. And late in the weekend, early next week, we get back into this southwesterly flow as the jet stream buckles again and cold air starts to gather again up in Canada. Notice all the green colors here up in Canada by the final day of the month on, what is that, Monday? Yeah, Sunday. Sunday's the last day of the month. So by Sunday and early next week, milder air definitely, making its way east ahead of the next shot of cold. That here it comes down into the U.S. And here's Groundhog Day coming up next Tuesday. And you've got a real battle going on here in the upper levels. You've got a fast-moving jet stream in through here. Here's the warmth. Here's the coming cold. And there's going to be a storm somewhere in here where that battle is between the cold and the warm. So let's take a look at the GFS model for next week. Here's Monday, the first day of February. You have a storm gathering across parts of the Rocky Mountain states, and you are seeing a front get kind of strewn out here across the Midwest into the Northeast. We'll be on the warm side of things, I think, through probably Groundhog Day on Tuesday, but this will be a big-time snowstorm out in the west. So this is Tuesday, the 2nd. So we look ahead, that was Monday, the 1st. Here's Tuesday, the 2nd, coming up on next Tuesday. Blockbuster storm out in the middle of the country. Big snow event. Plains, parts of the upper Midwest. Again, we're probably on the warm side of things still on Tuesday, but eventually, this cold air is going to come east and win the battle. So any warmth that we have early next week will probably give way to more seasonable weather later in the week. All right, so what's the longer range have in store? I'll skip ahead to the middle of next week. Here comes the cold. So by after Groundhog Day into Wednesday and into Thursday, here's the 4th day of February. You've got some cold temperatures moving across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley. And then by the time next weekend rolls around, chilly-ish pattern, but nothing looks real remarkable on this map to me. And it actually looks like, despite it being an El Nino winter and the Super Bowl being out in the Bay Area, the San Francisco area, it doesn't look necessarily stormy right around Super Bowl weekend, according to the European model here. So, this is always kind of a high-risk thing to have a Super Bowl in coastal California in an El Nino winter. It could be very stormy out there, but right now, the modeling would suggest it isn't doing much. In fact, it might be kind of warm, while the eastern U.S. might be a little on the chilly side. So, our February forecast, we're going to put out an official February forecast later this week, but it's certainly going to start warm. I mean, look at these, it looks like a red paint bomb right around Monday and Tuesday of next week into the east. But that'll be ironed out as we go through time, and February might end up being a fairly typical one, or perhaps even a little warmer than average. I do think it will be warmer than our initial February forecast, which we put out a few months ago, so we'll be adjusting that. Thanks for watching the Monday Night Weather for Weather Geeks. Sorry for rambling a little bit. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11. Have a great night.